When we speak about employment and jobs in India, the conversation very often focuses on the lack of jobs and the lack of employment that people really want. But in some areas and in some sectors, the case is quite the opposite. The Great Resignation is a feature that seems to have carried on from the year 2021 into this one as well. And it was clear when you look at the numbers that have been released by India's top 3 IT companies, their third quarter results, which were released yesterday. It showed all 3 in varying degrees. I'm talking about Infosys, Wipro, TCS, some of the most coveted jobs in the country. All 3 of these companies have reported an increase and a significant increase in their attrition rates. That means the number of people that are leaving jobs. And the fact is that this is very dominant in the IT space, in the technology space, but it is a feature across many sectors. More people in India and worldwide have changed jobs than perhaps in the last decade or so. Hence, it's called the Great Resignation. Now, the question is, why is this happening? Is it only limited to a few sectors? And who does it benefit? How do both companies, that is employers and employees, deal with these new realities? To speak about this, I'm joined today by a very exciting panel. Vikram, Bhaskar of Monster.com is with us on the show. Sunil C from TeamLease is joining us in the conversation, and I'm also speaking with Jang Bahadur Singh of Aon. Thank you so much to all of you for speaking with us. What are the cues that we are seeing from what TCS, Infosys and Wipro revealed in their third quarter results yesterday? Is the Great Resignation trend here to stay in this year as well?
I think if you look at what's really causing the Great Resignations, it's down to 2 facts. One is with the entire work from home model, the employee-employer bond itself has weakened. A lot of people joined within the lockdown and then also never met their bosses. So the human touch has somewhere gone missing. People have free time or maybe they are working too much, as some would put it. In a sense, what's happening is that there is a lot of pent-up anxiety that has been built up in the entire work from home model. And if on top of that, you build the opportunity that is coming in this sector, purely from the way the technology sector is shaping up, be it around how they're helping the clients build digital capabilities and scaling their own digital service line. I think this trend is here to stay. As long as there's demand that you see coming in, we do expect these attrition numbers to be similar to what we saw in 2021. In 2021, incidentally, the attrition numbers were highest in a decade for the technology sector in India, at about 25%. I believe this is something that we'll also see this year as well.
So clearly, we're talking about these 3 companies as an example of what is happening across the board. We know that war for talent has been heating up in the startup space, in many verticals across the broad tech spectrum. But Mr. Bhaskar, do you think one of the reasons is what Mr. Singh alluded to? The fact that many people have joined jobs in a remote kind of a setting. They've perhaps not met their colleagues, their bosses, gotten comfortable in their cubicle or their corner of the office, and really don't feel that kind of attachment or a second thought before leaving for something better. You think that's contributed to this trend?
Yeah, Tamanna, first of all, thanks for having me here. I absolutely second what Jang said. I mean, we have seen, in the companies, a lot of companies that our colleagues have been there. And people have joined in, there is no emotional connect. There is no connect with the supervisors. There is no connect with the colleagues. And hence what's happening is that the main bond isn't missing. And hence, if that is not there, and that's one of the most important reasons for people to stay in the organization. So that is one. The other is other reason why there is a Great Resignation coming up is because of the skill gap and because of the talent shortage. In India, if you see, the numbers are huge, but the quality is a question. So if the skill gap remains in India for a long time, the Great Resignation is going to stay. And everybody now wants to go digital first. People are spending a lot of time on digitization, on automation. So these things have actually created a huge demand for the talent out in India. And hence, till the time this shortage goes down, the Great Resignation is going to stay. And my gut is that this is just the tip of the iceberg right now. And as you said, the top three are the companies, that backs the maximum number of projects. And these are the companies which will bag result. I mean, if they are getting maximum projects, they have to get maximum talent out of industry, right? But the fact is that people are moving anywhere. I mean, IT talent is moving to mid-cap companies. They are moving to small-cap companies. Till the time, they're getting, good amount of money. The third thing is, I want to say here, it's very easy to, give interviews while you are sitting at your home, right? I mean, I was talking to one of my friends and he said that in his calendar, he has got 8 interviews lined up in a day. And it has become so much more easy logistically, right? And the guy doesn't have to travel anywhere. And hence the freedom to pick assignments in different jobs has become pretty easy. So yeah, I mean, I second with what Jang said. It is the lack of bond has also been a catalyst in Great Resignation.
As people who hire, I'm sure this has been a challenging time for all of you on this panel, but I'm rooting for the employees who have finally found, sort of a bidding war for those who have the talent and are able to command the best possible option out there. Sunil, what really is fueling this jump? Okay, lack of emotional attachment to your company may be one thing, but at the end of the day, it's cold hard cash, isn't it? Are people jumping for more career growth, or is it all about the money?
Thank you, Tamanna, for having me here. I have a different take. While I agree with Jang, Bahadur and Vikram on both the points. One is the emotional connect and second is the skill gap. I think the biggest challenge here is the demand supply gap. As the people who, we are the ones who hire for most of the large companies, and we find that there is a huge demand supply gap, because of which, there is more opportunity coming into the existing talent. So apart from that, even the startup ecosystem, which has seen a boom of late, India is now the third largest startup ecosystem. So it has already created around 1.7 lakh jobs. So there is a lot of, jobs which are getting moved to them from the services organizations, the top 3 services organizations. Plus there is a increase in the GCCs in India, the captive centers in India. So the talent, the limited available skilled talent has to cater to all these areas. I feel that because of which there is a demand supply gap and there is a increased opportunity for the talent available. So that's the reason. So in a way, I would look at Great Resignation as a great opportunity for India.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about what it has meant for both sides of, this story. Both the companies who are hunting for talent and for employees who now are seemingly spoiled for choice. Jang, let me come back to you on that. In real terms, has it mean a massive increase in take-home pay for skilled employees?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I would actually break this down into 2 parts, right? There are employees that are already sitting in a firm, and then there are employees that you're trying to get from outside. Now, because of the demand-supply imbalance, and my colleagues here also spoke about, the entire convergence of sectors happening, and non-traditional sectors hiring from IT, sectors like engineering, manufacturing also coming in. So which has meant is that when you're trying to go outside and hire talent, you're having to pay obscene amounts of money. I mean, in the past, typical IT services, it used to mean that if you're jumping ship, you're getting about 20%, 30% increases. Now those numbers are way up. They're close to 50%, in certain cases even 60. So what happens is that when you're trying to get expensive talent from outside, it cannot happen unless you also solve for the folks who are already a part of the company. And which has meant that even people who are already inside firms have had to do mid-year increases. Firms firms have had to do one-time payouts. They've introduced more equity participation depending on who they are. So I think across the board right now, the cost of talent in India, I like to call it has undergone a correction, because for the longest time, especially, we saw that cost arbitrage used to be the mantra. But as the amount of work and the type of work coming into the country has changed, I feel this is more of a correction, and it is a little bit something that was due for a long time as well.
Okay, let me understand this from the perspective of the employers. Bhaskar, if it is going to be so tough to hold on to good talent, what really are employers putting on the table apart from the money?
See, employee engagement is one of the most important things, and apart from money, if especially the IT companies, they are using a bit of the RSUs, ESOPs, which is a long-term wealth creation, right? And there are various models of CTCs which are evolving in the companies now. The modeling is also based around bonus, which are pretty robust in system right now. So these are the things which can hold back the talent for a longer period of time. So, I absolutely agree that there is a huge burden on the companies, but it's also a function of how much money companies are making. I mean, if it's a trade-off between how much you make and how much you give, right? So if the companies are ready to give, it's also a reflection of the fact that they are making a lot of money with these people, and this is quite essential. It is important that they hire good talent. So good talent is getting hike anywhere between 50 to 100%. And maybe 150% in a lot of cases. I mean, we have seen even the biggest of the brands struggling here. So there is no stop here. I mean, there is no stoppage here. So ESOPs is important. Long-term bonus is important. The revising the CTC structure is important. So these things are important to contain talent for long term.
I want to understand, and let me take this question to Sunil. Has this trend been restricted largely to talent with tech skills, or are you seeing this across other sectors as well?
Yeah, we are seeing this, not at this rate, but we are also seeing this in the engineering and telecom space as well, because most of the requirements are all technical in nature. Every company is a tech company now. So we are finding a huge amount of demand supply gap in the other industries as well. And I don't see kind of resignation or the kind of talent war in IT same in the other industries, but I do definitely see there is a increase in the wages in those industries as well. And I also have another take that while we talk about emotional connect and ESOPs and other tangible benefits, I do think that the kind of projects what they get to work on also has an important aspect to sticking to the organizations. When we hire the talent, the candidates ask us, what kind of problem am I going to solve? What is the challenge? So I think somewhere, if you look back a few years back, talent was hired on bench, and we used to hire without telling what project you are going to be in. It just used to be on bench, or they might get a project at later stage. But now people are eager to know what project they are going to work on, and that also makes them to pick up the right job.
Yeah. So how important has work-life balance become, or the ability to work at hours that you choose become? I was reading somewhere that 4-day work weeks are also now being thrown at people to really attract decent talent. Vikram, you have a take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it has become pretty challenging. I mean, if you see, there are no times now. I mean, even if there is a time, people tend to work for, 12, 14 hours. So there is no time right now. Work-life balance is actually gone for a toss. So one, because of the fact that there is too much of workload. Second is because, there is no structured timing when people are working. So absolutely, it has gone for a toss. There is no denying there, and it is also adding on to the stress level of people. And I mean, coming back to 4 days a week, I mean, I think I have not heard too much about it in IT industry. But if that happens, I'm sure the first mover advantage will go to companies, which starts this, initiative. It'll be a wonderful initiative.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, so far companies are not willing to give time to people, or are not willing to put work-life balance on the table. Is that not something which is being demanded in this whole situation? Jang, you want to come in on that?
Sure. So I think when we look at areas like compressed work week, a 4-day work week, or greater work-life balance by allowing people more time to themselves, I think we also need to take a sectorial look into this. For example, when we look at traditional IT services, the model that they operate in, it becomes very, very difficult to give such perks and benefits. But if you look at product organizations, Fangam Group, for example, these are practices that they have adopted for a long time. We've always heard and admired the kind of benefits folks at Google's, for example, enjoy. And I think some of these benefits have been there, part of the industry. It is just that the pandemic has accelerated the adoption, where people have, or other firms and employers have realized that working from home hasn't really hit productivity that much. And they have started giving employees the freedom to define their own work timings. They've given employees the freedom to define their own job structure. And somewhere, I think that for certain firms, there's also been a differentiating factor. For example, when we speak to our clients, they talk about, Jang, everyone is able to pay cash, everyone is able to offer equity. We want to differentiate another, and one of the ways in which we want to differentiate is by looking at how we can make the employee's life easier by offering more competitive benefits. And which is where I think it's a very, very interesting play. Like I said, pioneers in this space have been IT product firms. It remains to be seen if that can be also adopted by the larger IT services in the BPO segment. But I do see in areas where this is getting picked up as well.
So now for people who are watching this, and those who are in traditional ITES kind of jobs and have those skills, already know that the situation is good for them, perhaps they know how to work their way around. But for everyone else, how do you make yourself more hireable and more relevant in the current situation? Let's go on that. Sunil, do you have any inputs there?
Yes, the new we are in the age where lifelong learning is an essential aspect to be relevant in our current jobs. So I guess there is a huge opportunity in the market to upskill ourselves with the advent of edtech companies, and where you can learn online, while it was available earlier, but I think because of the pandemic, it has kind of made available for everyone, and there's a lot of, it has become popular. So I think everybody has to, each job seeker, or whoever wants to change a job, need to upskill himself or herself. There are a lot of opportunities available, and there are a lot of courses available. In fact, we have seen that a lot of non-IT background talent is picking up courses, and then they are starting afresh. So that's another important thing which we are seeing in the marketplace. Because of the demand-supply gap, the non-IT talent is coming into this industry because, one, it has more money, second, it has more opportunities. So that's one trend. And for all these people, our suggestion is that keep abreast yourself of what's happening in the industry, and what kind of skills you need to upgrade yourself. And we keep reading so much in the news and in publications. I think people can upskill themselves.
Upskilling has become extremely crucial. Vikram, what would be your advice to those watching and wanting to jump onto this gravy train?
There is no substitute for learning, and the way companies have started demanding the work, it's so very important to upskill yourself and make yourself available for not only one role, for multiple roles in the organization. So people are really jumping on the gun. They are taking different kinds of courses. And if you see, the posts that are flowing right now, I mean, people have become so much more, I would say, adaptive towards learning, and they also understand that with the right upskilling, the kind of money they can earn, it's huge, and that trend has really literally changed in India in the last 2 years. People attending to webinars, it has become so very easy, right? There is no particular school or business school people have to go to now. The knowledge has become so very easy. Content has become so rich now. So absolutely, it is upskilling is pretty important for the generation.
Okay, so let's get a little more specific and give some value to our viewers who are watching. Let me come to you on that, Jang. What are the skills, if I were to ask you the top 3 or 4 skills that these companies want and is a must-have on any resume?
Sure. So I think the number one skill is that you need to have a digital mindset. A lot of firms today talk about how they themselves don't know about 24 months from now what is the kind of technology stack they would be working on. So number one is your ability to pivot from one skill set to another. So having that mindset is very, very important today. Apart from that, what they're also looking at is your understanding of the digital world, be it how you can augment user experience, how you can design and look at user journeys and so on and so forth. And the third piece is analytics. Today, data is the backbone of everything. Your ability to transform products, your ability to increase the operational efficiency of your processes, your ability to get closer to your customer, segment it rightly. Everything is based on data. So I think one is have a learning mindset, a digital mindset. 2, look at how user experiences can be enhanced. And 3, be very, very comfortable with data. I think those would be my top 3 picks.
All right. On that note, we wish everyone looking for a job and looking to hire all the very best through the great resignation which seems to be continuing. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today.